This is the Mohsin Mortgage Program with Sarah Mohsin. Mohsin Mortgage is licensed in several states for residential and commercial purchases and refinancing. Call 800-662-9550. And now, here's your host, Sarah Mohsin.
It's Tuesday, folks. Great to be back here again in San Diego and Boston. Please keep the phone calls coming. Ask the question, find out about your finances, getting your financial household in order. Remember, rates are in the threes. We're still looking at a great point in history to refinance or buy your first or second home. And we're licensed in multiple states. So give us a call here at 1-800-662-9550. I have a fantastic guest here with me today. In fact, quite a story behind the story. Dr. Deyarmin, or Brian Deyarmin here, and welcome. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you? Thank you for having me.
It's just a delight to have you. Now, you're actually someone's husband who I absolutely adore, Jamie. She's been a great friend of mine for many, many, many years. Next time I'm going to have her on the air, so that's going to be the deal. I wanted to chat with you, Brian, just to have a conversation about, I believe life is long. That's my view. What do you think as a physician, and you're always dealing with different situations with people and health and wellness? Can you share some information with our listeners about that?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I'm a family physician by trade, so I get the pleasure of dealing with all sorts of varied and sundry problems in patients from newborns to nursing home age patients, and one of my favorite sayings is that I believe your age is between your ears. And I truly believe that people, that how we age really depends on how we take care of ourselves and how we view life in general. Whether your glass is half full or half empty really makes a big difference. And there actually are physiological reasons as to why that's true. My
concern really is that, I'm a big health and fitness person. That's my drug. I work out, and I've noticed that I have a lot of friends who are in the fitness industry. I do really love a product, About Time products. It's all very natural. You can read the labeling and understand it. And I know the CEO, Sean, I had him on the air, a few weeks ago. But when you read the labeling on their products, you can read it. You just don't have anything that's confusing, or you basically don't understand the language. And we were chatting about this a little bit, about what you put in your body and what these supplements are doing to people, and how they're unaware of the reaction that is being caused because of the fact that they're not aware of, high protein diets, supplements that may create over caffeination, which causes anxiety and other things, strokes, etc. Can you share a little bit of your views on? You're the expert, so.
Well, when it comes to supplements, the majority of vitamins, minerals that our body absorbs and needs, we can get that through our diet. That's the overwhelming, the best way of doing it. There are supplements out there that are beneficial. Having said that, in this country in particular, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Right.
And the overuse of supplements is becoming pretty rampant. We've kind of become a pill society where instead of doing things the correct way, sometimes we search for the easy way.
Right.
And there's a lot of marketing behind the different supplements that are out there. I'm always a little bit skeptical when I hear a supplement making references to more than one condition, whether it's good for this problem, that ache, this, then you got to be a little bit careful. And it is a very tightly regulated industry in the sense that no supplement that they're considered food products by the FDA. And they have to be very careful in how they market themselves. They're not allowed to make any statements where they claim that they can treat or cure any condition. So, they'll use generic terms like will give you more energy, make you feel better.
Right.
And there's usually a lot of testimonials involved with it. Well, I took this supplement and it made me feel better, under the understanding that therefore maybe you'll feel better too.
Well, the thing is that I do a little bit of reading on stuff that's good for you. Like I've been reading about kale and spinach and things that you can actually use towards making your body work, a little bit better and be more efficient. And again, folks, ask the question. It's the number is 1-800-662-9550. We deal with finance, we deal with fitness, we believe in life being long, and I bring on intriguing, fascinating people. Dr. Deyarmin is the expert. That's why I say ask the question. You can call us and we can have that conversation. And Brian, you'd be happy to answer questions if our listeners reach out. I mean, people say, because I've seen this myself, I competed, probably 2 competitions, and I do notice that some of the diets where it's high protein, there's scenarios where there are issues that can be created, like kidney failure, et cetera. Have you come across that with your studies, or have you seen that could cause issues for men and women?
Yeah, we absolutely have seen that. Locally, one of the more prominent cases I've come across was a high school wrestler. Mm-hmm. They're looking to lift weights and build their body, and they do a lot of exercising and focus on speed training and things like that. But at the same point, when it comes time to match, the body weight is very important. And a lot of times these kids end up dehydrating themselves. And when you're taking any kind of protein supplement or even just a high protein diet, it's your kidney that really suffers with that. And be it good or not, we don't feel our kidneys. So if your kidney's struggling, it's not an organ that's gonna cause you pain. Right. You won't know about it until the damage has been done.
That's a frightening concept, I have to say.
Sure.
Now, my history with your wife, Jamie, who I do think she's a wonderful lady. She is. She's quite a sweetheart and very, very smart. And you have how many kids?
We have 7 kids.
Right. I think that's fabulous.
And
you're still
wonderful.
Smiling and looking younger than ever. What do you think about, I know when we connected through Jamie, you were also in a position where you wanted to refinance, right, with us. And the rates on the wholesale side, as we do provided, they are lower. And that does allow you with a better payment structure, because every percentage on that rate, especially if the loan amount's $100,000, $200,000, that makes difference in your payment structure. How did you find the process?
It was very smooth, very, very easy to use. You have a wonderful staff that, when we first talked about it, I was assured that it wouldn't be a problem, and I've heard that many times before. And those kind of processes usually are kind of long and drawn out, and sometimes hair raising. But no, your staff was absolutely wonderful. And
well, I appreciate that, Brian. And certainly, I don't know if I should call you Brian or Dr.
Brian,
Deyarmin.
please.
I think you deserve to be called Dr. Deyarmin, considering the years that you've put into, to get your certification and degree. Again, folks, call and ask the question here, 1-800-662-9550. I do love bringing on fascinating people, hardworking and very smart, especially when it also comes with health and wellness. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you, what do you suggest for people when they're is there a certain time frame when you're in your 30s you should go in once a year for a checkup, in your 40s, or do you recommend that for all age brackets?
It for the most part, most age brackets are good. Some of that, I hesitate a little bit because some of that really depends on your family history. If your family history is clean and people live to long old ages, I usually recommend that somewhere in your 20s you stop in for one visit and maybe get some blood work done, just to kind of get some baseline levels, and assuming everything's okay at that point. Then again, when you hit 30, but certainly by the time you hit 40, then at that point we recommend yearly physicals.
Right.
Physical exams, lab work, and then again, based on what your issues are, going from there.
Now, you're very accomplished in your clinics, and you're a business owner, and you've done extremely well. Can you chat a little bit about being a business owner and entrepreneur? And very humble you are.
It's interesting, as a physician, yes. We have 6 physicians and 3 extenders in our office. We have 3 locations in the Pittsburgh area, and I spend the overwhelming majority of my time being a physician,
right,
and taking care of patients and doing that part. And then at the end of the day, when everybody goes home and sits down for dinner or whatever, I still have a business to run.
Yes, that's
And
true.
fortunately, with the help of my partners, we tend to have very similar beliefs and attitudes in how we run our business and the quality of care that we try and provide. That it makes it a little easier in that sense. But yeah, there are people behind the scenes that help us out, and it's when you come out of school and you join a practice, the one thing that you frequently hear is, make sure you're working with people that you really enjoy, because it
Yes.
truly is a marriage.
It is.
And I spend more time, in my office, good or bad, than I do get to spend with my wife.
Absolutely.
And so it's you as a family physician, I will tell you the number one thing that I see, whether you look at diabetes, high blood pressure, coughs and colds, allergies, whatever, the number one thing that I see is stress.
Right. And
the number one source of that stress for 90% of people is their job.
right. Well, I have to wrap this up, unfortunately, but Dr. Deyarmin, please, you're always welcome back here, and I'm going to definitely bring you back.
Well, thank you very much.
And again, folks, 1-800-662-9550. Stay well, folks.
This has been the Mohsin Mortgage Program with Sarah Mohsin. Mohsin Mortgage is licensed in several states for residential and commercial purchases and refinancing. Call 800-662-9550.